it's Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story Podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hi, it's Ivy Slater, and welcome to Her Success Story. Today, we are kicking off a series that is near and dear to my heart, something I have been looking into, researching for about a year and a half now, very early on in the start of Her Success Story. I have wanted to do a series on the impact of women on boards. I first heard this spoken about at a breakfast event I went to with a couple of years ago. I heard a really impactful speaker, and I'm not going to give names because we're hoping that she will be on in the series. And I was like, wow, I had no knowledge of this. I had no knowledge that women on boards is not just a concept of, yes, we need to integrate more. Yes, we need to diversify more. Yes, it sounds great. There's platforms, there's leadership, there's all that. Of course, I'm behind it. I'm a big proponent of it. I had lived in a very male-dominated world of printing for over 20 years. So yes, that's all near and dear to my heart. What I started hearing and learning and got curious about is actually the impact and the results on the business side of when you have more women and more diversity on boards and C-suites, and the performance factor in not just small organizations, but Fortune 500 organizations. So this is where the idea and concept came to. So it started with, let's do an interview with the speaker. And then, so I went and I researched and, started doing my thing. And I started coming up with a lot more information. So then I started asking people. Here's a little behind the scenes. At the end of every interview after Her Success Story, after we stop the recording, I always ask our guest, who else do you know that would make a great guest on Her Success Story? And I share any of the upcoming series that I'm interested in doing over the next 6 months. Well, when I started asking about the impact of women on boards, some of our guests were like, oh, you need to speak to this person. You need to speak to that person. I started having 1, 2, 5, and 10 conversations. Went back to the team behind this, the team of Slater Success, and said, ladies, we have more than an interview here. We have an enormous amount of information. So we came up with, let's do a series. And very often our series start with 3 or 4. I do a content and 3 interviews, or maybe I'll skip the content and we'll just do 4. Well, there's more interviews to be had. And I said, this is just not something I'm going to compromise on or touch on lightly. So we're going to jump into this lightning fast and really look at different perspectives. I'm going to give you a few highlights, what to be aware and what to be looking for. We have interviews that talk about the impact of women on boards in finance. Okay, so we're looking at Fortune 500 companies. We're looking at mutual funds. We're looking at the big picture. Yep, we're looking at the Wall Street market and the impact of the investment side. We're looking at the venture capital side and the movement there. That was a really interesting interview that I recently did. As well as we're interviewing the CEO of an organization that is about women in the boardroom, and it actually helps educate women on how to start going for board memberships, to actually start going out to be members on boards, to taking that role, to taking that big step forward and getting their names out there, and how to actually start setting yourself up to be a board member of large companies, small and large companies. Some of these women are on boards. Some are not. It's a really enlightening series. We're looking at about 5 to 6 interviews. So hang on to your seats. You probably want to subscribe right now to Her Success Story, in all honesty, because you don't want to miss an episode. You don't want to go searching for it. It's not a big deal. All of our smartphones and computers, we could subscribe on various platforms, whether it be iTunes, Libsyn, Stitcher, etc. Subscribe, have it come to you. We drop every Monday morning. And give it a listen. Each interview is approximately 30 minutes and come from a place of curiosity. Whether you one day want to be a board member, soon want to be a board member, see it as a paid position, see it as a volunteer position, see the impact and how you're investing in your own portfolio and what you could learn on that perspective. What you could learn if you're interested, if you're a leader in venture capital, if you are putting funds together and want to know more about where the women sit in this perspective. If any of these areas are of interest to you, check out this episode on the impact on women on boards. It has been my personal mission in creating Her Success Story is to bring great content, get it out there, and in a very selfish manner. And the listeners who listen to me regularly know I'm pretty full disclosure. I'm going to tell it like it is. I pick things that I'm curious about, I want to learn more of. And I ask the listeners to share with me, leave a comment. What do you want to know? How can we serve you? What are you curious about? Myself and my team will go out and find the people, put the series together, just put regular interviews together from fabulous women and the few dynamic men that we have that teach us and make a great impact on our learning, our growth, our development, and our leadership with women today and the future of women in society, in business, and the ability to all of us to reach our goals and flourish in everything we want. So thank you for joining me here for Her Success Story. Again, remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode with the impact on women on boards.